They say wisdom comes with age. But what happens when a man turns 80 and still doesn't understand one of the most important leadership principles? Delegation. Can such a man still be called wise? Let's talk about Moses. When God called Moses at the burning bush, he was 80 years old. Not 30, not 50, 80. What was he doing? He was tending sheep. Not his own sheep, but his father-in-law's. A prince of Egypt who had once lived in a palace was now living in the wilderness, watching animals. You would think a man of that age, with such a history, would have developed advanced leadership skills by now, but he hadn't. In fact, when God gave him the assignment to lead Israel out of Egypt, Moses didn't even feel qualified. He questioned his identity, his speech, and even God's wisdom in choosing him. Moses didn't immediately gather a team. He didn't appoint advisors. He didn't create an army of helpers. Instead, he took it all on himself. And by the time we get to Exodus 18, he's sitting from morning till night, judging the people alone. One man, one seat, thousands of people. That's when Jethro, his father-in-law, steps in with a rebuke masked in wisdom. Jethro didn't speak like a prophet. He spoke like a father. He said, "What you are doing is not good. You will wear yourself out, and the people too. Appoint capable men. Let them handle the smaller matters." Moses could have argued. He was God's chosen. He had seen the burning bush. He had parted the Red Sea. He had spoken with Pharaoh. But instead of resisting correction, Moses listened. He accepted Jethro's advice and changed his entire leadership structure. That moment right there, that was wisdom. Wisdom is not always about what you know. It's about how you respond to what you don't know. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about being teachable when you're corrected. So yes, Moses didn't understand delegation at 80, but he was wise enough to receive counsel at 80. That's rare. Many people grow older, but never grow humbler. They cling to their ways. They defend their ignorance. They resist change. But Moses didn't. And God didn't choose him because he was the most organized or the most strategic. God chose him because he had the heart of a shepherd and the humility to learn, even in old age. Moses would go on to lead one of the most stubborn generations in history. He would face rebellion, betrayal, and disappointment. But he would also speak to God face to face, receive the 10 Commandments, and lead Israel for 40 years. In the end, Moses wasn't remembered for how he started, but for how he obeyed. He wasn't perfect, but he was faithful. And faithfulness is a kind of wisdom that cannot be taught in school. It's birthed in the wilderness, shaped through obedience, and refined by correction. Here's what we can learn from Moses. Wisdom is not age, it is humility. Age doesn't make you wise. A soft heart does. Moses had one. God doesn't need perfect men. He uses humble men. God called Moses while he was still unsure, still slow in speech, still dependent. Correction is a blessing, not an attack. Jethro's advice saved Moses from burnout. It preserved the people's hope. You're never too old to grow. At 80, Moses was still learning, and so should we. So, can a man who didn't know how to delegate at 80 still be called wise? Yes, if he's willing to learn. Wisdom isn't measured by how much you already know, but by how ready you are to receive new insight. That's why Moses was not only a deliverer, but a prophet, a flawed man with a teachable spirit, a leader who grew wiser as he walked with God. And that's the call for us too. Whether you're 18 or 80, may your heart remain soft. May you be open to correction, willing to grow, and bold enough to obey, even when you feel inadequate. Because in God's kingdom, it's not how you start, it's how you surrender. Kindly subscribe for more videos like this.